Hi, everyone. This is Art Talk session 11. We're joined today with the very skilled artist, Waqas Malik. Waqas, if you want to say hey to everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Yep.
Hello, guys.
So usually we just like to start with some kind of general background on you. Like, how did you like get inspired early on to pursue art?
Okay, so basically, my family, no one is an artist in my family, right? So in the childhood, so I wasn't very, really into art and stuff. But I used to draw, and I would watch cartoons all the time, and I did not know that I could do this as a profession. So I never thought of it until I played video games in on PS2. It was like Prince of Persia, and the kind of style that that game had, the Indian and Arabic architecture that got me into this, learning about how games are made, and what this concept design is. So initially, I thought that I should go into animation and learn 3D. And as I progressed, I found out that because I love I love to paint and draw. So I thought I should, I did some research on the internet, and concept art is what I found out that this job is, that when people paint and conceptualize different things in worlds and characters and different sorts of stuff. So that got me interested into doing this. And then
So that's
there is
the first time you found out. Was that the first time you found out that this was a credible job where you could make money off of your art skills?
Yes, around 2007 and 8, I found out that I can make money using this, and it was even a job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Initially, I went into learning computer programming. I thought the only path would be to learn computer programming, and then I could make video games and stuff like that. So, but I was completely wrong. So as I did some research on it, and did some research on Google, a lot of time was spent on research. So, and found out that even there is also another way that you can work on video games, and that was being an artist. So,
Okay, were there any other artists that you saw maybe early in your journey that inspired you, like
yes,
something really early on?
yes. So because I really love Prince of Persia, so I researched on that. So, and I found out that Raphael Lacoste was the art director, and I saw his work, and it was mind blowing. I fell in love with his work. So I then decided that this is what I need to do. So a lot of a trial and error. After a lot of trial and error, I figured out that this is how it is actually done. Right. So I was doing a lot of things like 3D and into like and graphic design, but eventually I found out that the proper way to do was to learn painting and learn to draw.
Mm-hmm. So it's
And
like you were trying out a lot of things, but then you leaned more towards just painting the environments and landscapes. That's what attracted you the most.
Exactly.
As you started your freelance career, like what was it like kind of getting into that, like transitioning from the sort of learning phase and getting into trying to work your way into your first like commissions and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was exciting, a lot of, but at the same time it was tense, because as you get your first job and you have to prove yourself, and you don't have you can't mess it up. So, and also it was stressful, because of the timing. We live in Pakistan. I was having to work late at night, and I was sleeping on the daytime.
Have like
That's
a
very
schedule.
familiar. I guess that's
Was there
one big challenge that early artists face because we don't really know if this thing is going to pay off. I mean, it does for those professional artists, but we don't know if it's going to pay off for us. And then you have to spend so much time studying it, first of all. And because you're self-studied, right? You taught yourself how to do all this.
Not necessarily. I did go to art school.
Hey, Waqas, your mic is having like a little feedback or something.
Is it okay now?
Say something else.
Is it okay?
There we go. Yeah, sounds better. It's just having like a little scratchy thing.
Okay. So I went to art school first, and I was doing fine arts, but I was so wrong that fine arts was not the actual way, because in fine arts they would teach us modern art, and modern art is not what I was inspired by, and they wouldn't teach us the basics of art, like perspective and stuff like that.
Basic like fundamentals.
Exactly. So then I did some research, and again, internet was very helpful in that, and I studied online. So that was my journey, basically.
Do you recall any materials online that maybe we could check it out?
Yeah, sure. So I would recommend everyone to learn from you. Those who ask me where to learn exactly, right? So I would recommend CGMA to learn from, and because there I got my proper introduction to digital painting and proper introduction to fundamentals of art. And I did learn from other sources like Gnomon workshops and like schoolism. I recently started doing some other classes with schoolism.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, man. Do you find it easy to paint while you talk? Because I need to concentrate, man. I need to put all my effort into painting something.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult for me to talk and paint at the same time.
Okay.
It's almost impossible for me to talk and paint and concentrate at the same time, especially because my native language is not English, so I have to think and then speak and then paint.
Yeah, I understand.
It's a lot of trouble.
When you first got into like, or as you went through like getting your freelance, was there any like particular jobs that were like big for you, that like any work that you did that was like you're particularly proud of, or that you felt like, all right, I'm really doing this now?
Yeah, like initially I started, when I started, like I got graphic design jobs, and that was not that satisfying, but it gave me an idea that I can learn, I can earn from these kind of from internet, right? So I did a lot of research on how to approach different companies so that I could get better job opportunities. And every time
Yeah, well, Tasha, your mic's cracking out again. Sorry.
Is it okay again?
It's still a little scratchy.
Now, is it fine?
I don't know. Can you understand it, Ali?
Yeah, it's just a bit of static, I guess.
I guess
Just
try
a
one
little
more time.
static.
Yeah, it's like little scratches are coming in or something.
Is it too noisy?
Yeah, it's like every time you say something, there's some static along with the something.
Oh, so let me reconnect my microphone.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, sounds better.
All right. So what was the question? I totally forgot.
Yeah, we were talking about your like the first kind of freelance that you got that
Oh,
was
yeah. So I started getting like design jobs and small other illustration jobs. The first big job for me was from United States, and there the company was Shadows in Darkness. So it was they were
Shadows and
making
Darkness.
Shadows in Darkness. It was in the company was in Florida. So they were making games for Xbox 360.
Okay.
So I did a couple of concepts for that, and then the I got some other jobs, and the job that I did was not that frequent. So I had to wait like 4 or 5 months to get another job. So and in between I had to do more studies and become a better artist. The only way that I think the only way that you get a job is to become a better artist, and that's the only way I think to get jobs.
so it was kind of like
And that
get what jobs you could and improve during like to kind of
exactly,
improve like the quality of opportunities. Gotcha.
exactly.
Did you find that to be like a kind of harsh environment, or did it kind of escalate naturally?
I mean the expectation the expectations were high, and I had to work a lot harder as got more bigger jobs. So like the last time I worked for West Studio, um, and they worked for Assassin's Creed, and they worked
Oh
for
wow.
Ubisoft. So not I did not work on directly on Assassin's Creed, but I worked for the West Studio, so Tyler West Studio.
Okay.
So they were working on a project for Ubisoft. It was a mobile game, so I did work on mobile game with Ubisoft through West Studio, and that was a tough project for me because I had to prove myself, and it was my first biggest project, and I had to work a lot harder, and so yeah, that was the most intense experience for me. That was the last job that I did for any client, and then after that, after a lot of months, there was no job, and I had to work a lot and to study and to become a better artist. In my portfolio that you see, the more recent works, they're all mine, and I then started doing my own projects. I couldn't wait for other clients to give me something and to paint, right? So I started working on my own project, and instead I started spending my more of my time into learning art, and yeah.
But was this like a concrete project that you wanted to develop, or was it just to practice?
Yes, I wanted to develop a concrete project because I think doing scattered work is not really helpful, and you need to have some sort of product in your hand to show off to the
Yeah.
public. So the project that I'm currently working on is the project that I've been looking forward to create and complete as soon as possible, even with the help of Patreon. So I constantly work on the project and post concept art regularly on my social media and ArtStation and Patreon. So yeah.
Gotcha. Hey, Waqas, could you try like unplugging your mic and plugging it back in again? Like I think the feedback's like it keeps fluctuating a little bit. Maybe it'd help.
I don't know why this is happening right now, but let me check.
Yo, this painting is coming along kick ass. Cole, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, how is he unplugging it and painting at the same time?
I think it's like recorded, like pre-recorded.
Wow. I like how he does all these crazy shapes and rock formations. It's sort of like Jeremy Peloton, the French artist, or a lot of spacing too, like Noah Bradley.
Yeah.
There's a really nice sense of scale and space, and you sort of want to look out in the distance at the rocks far, far away.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Where is this guy?
I like how you did the textures. Like that light photo bash, but like very simple.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do that a lot. It's a really easy way to get a lot of textures and a lot of hues too, if you're working on colors.
Definitely. Let's see.
Well, it looks like Waqas disconnected for a while.
Yeah, I think he's working out the mic.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Let's see.
It could be one possibility that the electricity went out. It does do that in this city. Oh yeah, and I might sort of disconnect at any time because I live in the same city. Oh, he's
there
right.
he is.
I thought the power went out or something.
You there, Waqas?
Nope, he doesn't look like.
Okay, I think he DC. Bear with us.
Yeah, but this is a real threat that the power might go out at any time without warning.
I'm gonna pull up his ArtStation since he's got to load back up here.
Yep, he's just trying to get back. We got Waqas in chat with us, and we'll be continuing the live demo.
Yeah, so while he gets situated again, I'm just gonna go through his ArtStation portfolio here and look at these landscapes.
Those shapes are just crazy, man.
Yeah, it's unreal, really.
Also reminds you of that guy, Eitan Zana. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Zana, sort of a Naughty Dog landscapes. This is just beautiful, man. The sunset and the colors.
Yeah, just his color choice and like the texture work, and then like it looks like predominantly like very subtle like photo bash elements, and then sometimes I can't even tell.
Yeah, hey man, you're back.
Is it working fine, my mic?
It's coming in much clearer.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to just screen share the your paint again. Yeah, and so I guess we were talking about you transitioning from your freelance work into your self work, your Patreon and your projects.
Yeah. So I was like, when I was working for clients, it was difficult. I mean, as I said, that timing was not correct. I was sort of sleeping in the daytime and working on all night, and I didn't really like it, and because of the pressure and other stuff like that, so I decided to completely devote my time to my own projects and explore this area of art. So initially, when I got into this art industry, this video game and concept art industry, I did that because I loved video games, and I was thinking like I don't have to work to be able to create video games. I can just using Patreon, and when I saw Patreon, I saw another opportunity to explore and carry on like that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you can tell us
Was
more
that
about your
a,
Patreon.
So I started Patreon like 4 or 5 months ago. I started Patreon, and it's going great, and people are coming in and I give them videos and my files, and it's an amazing opportunity. And
Okay.
for me, I think this is the best tool to support like what you love, and for the fans who love the art, they can support, and in return they can get amazing lectures and tutorials and support and files and high-res files, which is not available on the internet.
So guys, if you're listening and you want to learn more about how Waqas makes all these amazing landscapes and his techniques, then you should definitely check out his Patreon. He also has an ArtStation. I guess you're also on Instagram and Twitter, all, of course on Facebook too.
Exactly.
when you initially decided to make the jump from doing freelance and going into that Patreon side, was that kind of like scary at first, or were you very excited to kind of get out of the freelance sort of work?
Yes, it was scary because I did not know what I was doing. So I did some research, and I was like, it was a leap of faith for me. So I like to challenge myself. I like to do things like that. That scares even me. So and in the end, it is always a great experience to figure things on the way and explore new possibilities.
So Waqas, I gotta ask you, man, how old are you right now?
Sure. 27.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So with your Patreon, you're also doing like a lot of more potentially educational material. I think I've seen
Exactly.
to kind of help other artists. Is that something that you really wanted to do from the outset, like kind of contribute back to up and comers?
Yeah, I was like when I was learning art, there were some difficulties for me, and it was really hard to figure out how to tackle those. And so because I was able to somehow figure out, so I'm thinking that why not? I mean, those who support my work, why not give them a chance to learn and help whatever I can.
I guess on that, like as I'm watching this video, I figure we can ask some questions about your general process. I noticed with this one, you just kind of just started very loose and organically. Is that normally how you start most of your pieces, or do you normally have like a more structured approach?
It depends. It depends on the kind of work that I'm doing. For the illustration that I do, which is proper illustration and not very loose work. So I don't do this kind of process. I go through each and every process, like design, and then coming up with the composition and things like that. Then deciding the color. But this is more like a sketch process. So I start without anything in my mind, without any idea, and then I explore and carve out, and with use of photos, and sometimes photos give you great texture work and gives you a new possibility to explore.
Yeah.
So this is
also, I'm noticing that you work on one layer only. That's pretty impressive. That's also very risky. You recommend this to other artists?
I only work on one layer when it's a sketch that I'm doing, because I don't have to stick to it. I can just change it whenever I want. But with the illustration, I never stick to one layer. I have to know exactly what I'm going for and what I'm gonna get in the final result. So I have to decide it in the beginning, like the composition and design and color, everything, lighting and stuff like that.
So if those pieces that are like more planned out, you usually start with like a sketch phase and kind of map everything out beforehand.
Exactly, it's a design. First I figure out the design, then values and lighting, and each and every process is done separately, and then I have a separate layer for each and everything, like background and sky and foreground objects and characters, if there are any characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very detailed process.
Out of your two approaches, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, please. Go on.
I was just gonna say, like, out of those two approaches, like, which is your preference? Do you prefer working more organically like this, or do you like the structured approach?
I mean, I have multiple processes. Sometimes not only these two processes, I also sometimes have another process, like I paint over on top of the photo or existing photo. So it depends on the kind of work that I need. So I don't have any one favorite process. So yeah.
Things that you like about each one, I take it.
Yep.
Gotcha. For a lot of your landscapes, like I noticed, like from what I can see in your portfolio, like there's like a really good balance. Like the photo bashing that you do is like very kind of minimalist. Like I feel like so like there's like a great sense of paint, which I prefer. Like I really like that. What was sort of like your decision to kind of go that route?
Actually, initially when I was painting, a year or two ago, I was like, when I used to paint with photos, I'm photo bashing and it's technique like photo bashing. So it used to get really messy because there is this technique that somehow matte painters use, and they combine their photos in a way that it does not look that ugly, So for me to use that, I need to learn that first. So I don't use matte painting technique that much in my photos, and I paint over most of them. So I think in my process, I have to paint over my photos because in the end it comes out really ugly whenever I use too much photos. So I try to at least paint in the end on top of that to unify everything,
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think that's like a strong point of like, all the landscapes and stuff I saw in your portfolio is like there's a lot of you in there. There's a lot more medium. Like I see a lot of people that sometimes I feel like they over photo bash, and like there's like some jarring elements. You know what I mean? Like some of the photos don't jive well or they don't blend well, but yours feels seamless. Like there's many paintings, like I'm not even sure if there was, any photo bashing because it was that well blended.
Thanks. So even for example, when I was talking about like my initial influences, like Raphael Lacoste, he had a big influence on my painting, right? So he is initially basically he is a matte painter. So I really wanted to do exactly what he does. So and I'm looking forward to exploring that side too. So I'm thinking of maybe in a year or two, I'm thinking of becoming a matte painter and learning these techniques to implement in my own artwork and go towards more realistic and believable landscape. Still, you need to be able to judge where you need to put a lot of details. And sometimes when they're beginning, when there are junior artists, they paint a lot of detail in areas where they don't need to paint, and it's all about composition and design.
Yeah, they kind of lose their focal point in the array of making everything at the same detail level.
Exactly.
Man, I'm just enjoying the demo so much because this is exactly how my process. I mean, obviously it doesn't come out this fucking awesome, but like the photo bashing and the composition, flipping it right and left, and the value sketching, I noticed, Waqas, you do a lot of value paintings.
Yes.
So
Value
is that
painting,
something? Yeah, sorry, go
I
on.
mean, I really like the concept of lighting, and I like to explore the light and shadows and atmosphere separately. So,
Yeah.
when I paint in black and white, it gives me a really good approach. It shows me then how to control light perfectly without fearing about the color and stuff like that.
So you like to
can
work
create
from gray to, and then
Yes.
go into color later.
If I need to take it to color, then I would go to and then I would switch to a different method and then color the whole thing. But sometimes I like to just explore and leave the painting as it is, and leave it as a black and white painting.
Yeah, this one looks fantastic. Like just the texture work and everything. Like the rocks all feel great, and like you barely used any photos at all, just enough to get like the surface
Just enough
there.
Just enough to give me some direction and to paint over and explore new ideas.
Yeah, man, it's phenomenal to watch. Like I've already gotten a ton of ideas on things I could do to improve myself. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So you were talking a moment ago about now that you're kind of getting interested in the matte painting. Is it sort of a thing for you to like constantly find new things to get into and kind of push yourself into new territories and not kind of remain too stagnant in one area of the industry?
Exactly. So there's this recent trend that started like a year or two ago that that people, concept artists, started to use 3D. If you notice that, people like Sharif Ali and Icon and they started using a lot of 3D, and 3D became very, very famous like for concept artists. So I had to like jump into that and learn 3D, but 3D was very, very boring for me, and I would sleep in half of the class. So yeah.
Were you working with like ZBrush and things?
No, I'm only currently working in Blender. It's a free software, but it's really powerful.
Gotcha.
So I'm planning on learning also ZBrush because I can help in that, and that is pretty great experience. So yeah, I learned 3D, and now I'm planning on learning matte painting, but matte painting thing like aspect ratio and very technical details to be able to paint a realistic matte painting. And then you have to can move it like in 3D space and stuff like that. Makes me want to play it. But I do still want to learn it. So let's see. I hope in a year or two I'm gonna be jumping into that.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be interesting too to like learn 3D and maybe incorporate that into paintings as well a little bit. I know a few artists that do that, but it's not something that I have any experience in. Have you tried anything like that, like taking any 3D elements that you've done in Blender and then painting over?
Yes, I just recently started using 3D in my workflow, in my illustration, especially in my illustration. I don't like to use 3D in these kind of sketches because I want it to be fast.
Yeah.
So in my illustration, I'm trying to constantly use 3D for the base, and for the realistic lighting, and then I go on top of that and photo batch and paint on top of that to make it look more like my own work rather than someone else's. Because 3D becomes very, very rigid and stiff, and I have to make it look like that. It is not that stiff and very fluid.
Make sure that there's like a feeling of the medium in there. Yeah. That was always like my deterrent from exploring 3D, but I think there's a benefit to like having such a wide skill set with a wide number of programs and skill sets in that nature. Would you say that's been like a big benefit in learning for you, like doing some different approaches?
I think learning 3D has saved a lot of time for me, and because if I want to try and create a very complex scene, and 3D becomes really helpful in that. And you don't have to, even though when you know perspective very well, it takes a lot of time to create a very detailed 3D scene. It takes, in perspective, 2D scene when you are creating, as for example, like say a city, it takes a lot of time to create that. But in 3D, you can create in an hour or two. So 3D saves a lot of time. And yeah, so I've been trying to use 3D to save a lot of time. Initially, it wasn't saving a lot of time for me because I did not know modeling that well. But now, as I get used to it, I become very fast with it.
Yeah, I'd say it would be very beneficial, especially like for, like you were saying, like cities and things where you can just kind of generate the shapes in those programs and then take the picture of the camera angle you want and paint over, the actual mood of the environment and the colors and everything. Like
exactly.
So it kind of seems to me like you're a very digital-oriented artist. You use a lot of 3D softwares. You use you paint. Do you mostly paint on the computer?
Totally. I never painted traditional before. I'm trying to also learn to paint traditional. I bought some, but I haven't found the time to be able to do that. I started learning it digital, and I'm still doing digital. And I think I'm gonna be doing digital for a while.
Okay.
So that video ended. Let me play another one.
That's cool, man. What kind of hardware do you use?
I use a workstation computer. It's an old workstation.
That's awesome. Are these the videos that you share on your Patreon?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So this is a color concept art that I did for Patreon. It started, I think this is a color one. Let me check. Yes. So I started with black and white and switched to color, and sometimes this is my other method that I use.
So in this one, are you just kind of filling your way out now and trying to find like
Exactly.
shapes you like?
Exactly. And then I'll turn it into color.
Awesome.
At this point, I have no idea what I'm doing, so this is just to explore.
I see you're jumping the color early on this one. That's interesting. Is this like at this stage, are you just trying to kind of establish like a mood for the piece?
Exactly, and design and composition.
Gotcha.
Photos can help you a lot. Sometimes new ideas that you did not think before.
Yeah, like just having something to kind of work with that's already like laid out there can kind of get your brain working.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's often like I see a lot of people, they struggle when they just kind of are looking at the blank canvas, and sometimes it's just good just to get some stuff on there to be able to manipulate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are you just kind of like fishing for something here, like just like, what do I want to do with this? Like, what would be cool? That sort of mentality.
Sorry, could you say again?
I was saying, like, where you're kind of just trying random things with the photos and things right now. Are you just kind of like fishing right now to see something that strikes you?
Exactly. That's the main thing that we're trying to do.
This actually what FZD, Feng Zhu Design, talks a lot in his YouTube videos. This is a method of idea creation where you just bombard your
his videos. Exactly, his videos have been very cool to learn, for me to learn this kind of work, this kind of technique. And I watched all of his videos, like Feng Zhu's videos. He's a genius the way he works.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, big time. I can't think of like anybody that gets into the digital field that doesn't, cross paths with his, lessons at some point.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So with your Patreon, do you do like a lot of these sort of process videos to kind of give people like an idea of how they could go about working like this and kind of figuring out ideas and improving?
Exactly. I do like a black and white time lapse video and a color, and for others, like I also give proper critique and how to improve early, and how to study, how to do research on certain topics. So I give critique to other students on Patreon.
That's awesome. So you give them like advice on like how to approach studying a new subject, multiple programs, and hands-on critique.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Depending on where they are at right now. So the painting they submit to me, I see the painting, and I see what they need to learn, and how they need to implement to become a better artist. So I teach them the skills that I have, the knowledge that I have. I teach them and show them, and some I do a paint over their painting to show how to improve their art.
Yeah, to show them kind of like where their struggle areas are and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be hard, I think, especially for new artists to figure out is like where their weak spots are, because they haven't like trained their eye for it. So having somebody that's, you know, had that longer experience pointed out can really give them a jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you, in your experience so far with it, have you seen anybody like within your Patreon, you know, base? Have you seen a lot of people improve like dramatically as you've been, you know, giving them feedback?
I just recently started like 4 or 5 months ago, and the critique thing once old. So I hope to see some of my students increase as an improve as an artist. So they are doing good work, and so yeah. So I hope if other people join and it's the same lesson that I have, and I want to teach people to become a better artist.
Yeah, it must be like just like an exciting kind of prospect to think that, you know, you're really helping people kind of get into their field, you know, their dream jobs and whatnot, and being kind of a part of that.
Exactly. My approach is not for only concept artists. I mean, just those also those who want to become a general artist and who want to paint for themselves. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, they just have a general love for it.
Exactly. I don't teach technique that much. I teach them the basics and foundation. I focus on that.
Yeah, those the critical, like fundamental skills.
Exactly.
So, how many hours in a day do you think you practice, or do you draw, paint, or for Patreon?
Mm-hmm. Those are not fixed, and I'm a super lazy person, so I work a couple of hours, then I take a huge break, and then I come again and work. So my hours are never fixed, and thanks to Patreon, I'm able to carry on like that.
Kind of gives you a little bit more breathing room than the freelance, I take it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a dream.
No, personally, average, like if you had to guess, like how many total hours do you usually work a day? Like
around 5 or 6 hours.
5 or 6. Gotcha.
Because I also do my own study and other stuff. So yeah.
So like each day you usually like probably do some of your Patreon stuff, and then also you have your personal things that you're trying to learn. Like I take it, since you're interested in doing like getting into that matte painting and stuff, you probably have to designate some time to research and practice that sort of thing.
Exactly. You have to be constantly learning. You cannot just stop. So I constantly take classes and online classes. So spend some time for that too.
Okay. So how do you see yourself? Like, how do you see yourself in the future? Where are you going to take? Are you going to continue with the Patreon? Do you have any projects on your mind?
I think the current project that I'm doing, and I'm also sharing that with my patron. So I want to take that into and make it into a 3 short film.
Oh wow!
I think it's gonna take some time, and I think I can do it. And so yeah, so
Yeah,
it will.
that sounds incredible.
Sometime
Is it
I
like
know that.
Does
is it
that have
short
like? I
animated?
remember at the beginning you mentioned you were somewhat interested in like animation. Is that kind of part of that, like
Yes,
doing the
exactly.
short film, like,
I was
fulfilling that?
exactly. I will be with a friend of mine. He's a 3D artist, so I'm going to be developing this project to 3D animation.
That's awesome.
Hopefully someday I can share it with you guys.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Like I'm going to be keeping my eye on that. That sounds amazing. Have you are you kind of at the ground level of it right now, like where you're just kind of getting the ideas formulated, or is it a little bit developed already?
It's not very concrete right now, so we are developing, and at the same time I'm developing the 3D, getting my friend to develop 3D, and so yeah.
So it's kind of at the like exploration stage of
exactly.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yes,
That's kind of full circle for you too, since that was kind of what your initial like inspiration
exactly. Yeah,
in. So it's got to be very exciting.
Exactly. With the client's work, I wasn't able to do that, and with Patreon, I'm able to, even though it's not that earning is not that great because I just started Patreon, but I have the freedom to choose and do whatever I want with it.
Yeah, it must be a lot more exciting to work on things that came from you and that you're excited about and that you have control over and say. Because I imagine some of the freelance jobs you probably just had to fulfill a prompt, and it might not have been something you were necessarily interested in doing, but because you got to pay the bills,
do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I imagine this is much more enjoyable, kind of the Patreon side of things and your own personal projects. It must be much more exciting than kind of navigating the freelance market.
Exactly, because some of the clients, when they ask you to do some certain things and paint certain images, sometimes you don't like it, but because they are asking, the client is asking that you have to complete it. So with the Patreon, it's been a blessing, and it's been great and rewarding.
Oh, you're using Jama's brushes.
This is my, what's his name?
Is it Jama Gervais?
No, I don't think from him, but
okay.
These are the more common brushes that everyone has. I don't know from where I got this, but this is I got from the internet, not my own personal.
Yeah, I have the same brush for the rocks. It's by a Russian artist called Jama Jurabayev. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh.
It's just type in Jama brushes.
Okay.
I'm at the point where I have so many brushes that like I could never like remember where I got them all from.
Yeah, man. Especially the blood spatters. Am I right?
Exactly.
So I guess you're at this point in the piece, you're just trying to like establish the textures a little more concretely.
Exactly. I'm gonna change it very drastically. This one, but I'm exploring at this point. Sometimes I do not even know myself where I'm going with this, so I take a break and then come back and then change a bit.
Yeah, come back with like a fresh eye and be like, you know what, I want to do this instead, or this isn't working.
Exactly.
I find myself having to do that quite a bit as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially when it's 3 a.m. and you don't know what you're doing. You just go to sleep and come back the next morning.
But this process I never use for illustration, and this is my sketching in color.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I imagine whenever you have something specific in mind, you probably use your more structured approach and line out the design and map everything out beforehand before kind of jumping into the painting process, I take it?
Exactly.
Gotcha. I really like seeing that, you know, you have a sort of like a minimalist layer usage for when you're working in this type of with like
For this
doing
kind of
more loose stuff.
Exactly. For this kind of work, I try to maintain limited layer. So this really helps to make it work fast, and otherwise it will slow down the work, and I wouldn't be able to get anywhere.
Definitely, because I imagine this type of work is more about like idea exploration and trying to like figure out new things that could work aesthetically.
Exactly.
It's very smart. I imagine you probably learn a ton doing this too, like just experimenting like this.
Yeah, exactly. And now because I was totally blind, I was trying to come up with something using lines and draw on top of that. So that is also a very helpful technique to come up with different unique shapes.
Yeah, I already really like the feeling of it. Just like with the line sketch, it's like it's giving me like somewhat of like a comic vibe, but it's got like a nice gradient there where you've done rendering below it already.
Yeah, about that one layer technique, it also puts you in the same sort of mental space where, you know, it's the same as traditional, whereas you can't make any more changes to what you've already done, especially if you're working with inks or markers. You have to be very sure.
Exactly. I'm also trying to these days work like make things look like a painterly rather than digital. So having one layer and painting on top of painting everything in one layer really helps you get in that mood of painterly style, and it helps with the flow of the brush, and sometimes the mistakes painting look painterly.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've noticed with your work, and something that I personally I prefer, like a more like painterly feel, like having a touch of medium. Even for like the more realistic stuff, I like a little bit of that medium to kind of be in there, and that's something I think that looking over your portfolio is something you're really excelling at. Like, so, you know, awesome job, man.
Thanks. As you can see that
you won't get from Shay Safari, because he will just do 3D and photo textures, and the end product is so photorealistic that even a few mistakes, or very minimal mistakes, will sort of jolt you out of it. You know, you won't enjoy the piece as much, even though it's 99% perfect. But with Painterly, you can make as many mistakes as you want. You've already suspended that belief.
Exactly, totally.
I feel like it gives more character to the piece too. Like there's more of like a vibe, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Whereas like sometimes like with like full reels and things, like they can be like they can look amazing, but like they don't have as much atmosphere or personality.
Exactly. It's too much visual noise with the detailed painting. You have to simplify things to make a statement.
Definitely.
Oh, I
like kind of what you're doing right now. And,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Shadows. Like this looks amazing.
So I guess with the help of line work, I was able to create a better sense of environment. Sometimes the line work really helps.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit of extra information to kind of play with on the piece.
Yes.
Looks really I love how this thing has evolved. Like, at first I thought this was going to be like a volcanic environment. Now it's like a interesting kind of desertish environment. Like, I love how like it kind of wildly transitions when you're freely exploring it.
Yep.
So at this point, are you working with like atmospherics now, like trying to figure out how, like what you want faded and what you want to kind of stand out?
I think for my paintings, I moved very seriously, and I try to convey a very moody image. So I really like my paintings to be very high in contrast. So at this stage, image.
Yeah, something that kind of like really leads the eye.
Exactly.
Yeah, just that little bit with the fade and stuff gave such like a sense of depth to this piece. Like, just something that small like can really just push that.
For me, understanding the lighting really helps a lot, and when it works better painting.
Let's see, we're at about an hour here. I guess we'll be wrapping up. But Waqas, is there any sort of closing advice you'd like to give the viewers, or anything you'd like to say in general?
So I think I see a lot of people that follow the trend a lot. The art industry. So I would say that not to follow the trend and work hard as possible. And I think people can do whatever they want as long as they work hard and not the trend. I think.
Yeah, just kind of stay true to what you wanted to do from the outset, not kind of get lost in the shuffle there.
Exactly. Even for myself, I see that when I stopped working for clients, I stopped chasing the clients and stopped chasing the concept art dream. My artwork overall increased the quality. I think that is a thing with concept art these days, that people trying to follow the trend and use everything that every artist is using, every technique. People are looking for thinking of the fundamental things.
Definitely. Well, Waqas, thank you so much for coming on and sharing these paintings with us and talking about your process and your experience. I've learned a ton. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, guys.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys later. We hope you enjoyed the talk and the demos, and see you next time.